Now, I think it's pretty much universally known at this point that Kathleen Kennedy has technically destroyed 3 whole franchises: Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and yes, she was deeply responsible for the latest Marvel phase, really not working well with a lot of Marvel fans out there, whether you're a fan of the movies or the comics, whatever have you. She is a very close friend to Kevin Feige, and she had much influence over many of the latest films and or TV shows. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing that I think a lot of people out there really had deep respect for Trey Parker and Matt Stone for was exactly how they were able to use South Park as a platform to really call out and expose the current status of Disney, Bob Iger's direction of the company, and what he has done very wrong throughout all of this year of 2023 and what he plans to do beyond. Now, given that Kathleen Kennedy is also a very big part of the problem, and this is exactly what South Park really kind of put the spotlight on, was exactly what she's been doing over at Lucasfilm and what she actually has been doing for the past number of years. Now, a lot of people out there have differing opinions on the PANDERVERSE episode. Some people feel that they went too easy on her. Others feel that they respected her in the end of the event episode for South Park. A lot of people have differing opinions on that. But at the end of the day, it, without a doubt, really kind of reached out to people that may not have any knowledge about Kathleen Kennedy or never really knew who she was. So, on top of all of this, with Kathleen Kennedy currently dealing with the fallout from the creators of South Park, one major development has to do with her response against South Park Studios and Paramount Plus in a very embarrassing attempt to stop their projects. Now, one crucial update to this ongoing drama involves how she recently gave both South Park Studios and Paramount Plus a warning against continued use of creating a mockery of not just herself, but the entire status of Disney. This comes after a recent remote meeting that took place where South Park Studios is taking action against Kathleen Kennedy now, in a shocking turn of events as a response to her unrealistic claims. Now, just recently, both Trey Parker and Matt Stone were approved to move forward with doubling down on the further use of mocking Kathleen Kennedy. This is how, of course, and this is now being done in a fashion where South Park Studios will also be mocking Kathleen Kennedy's attempts of preventing Parker and Stone from continuing their use of herself in future episodes and events. The plan right now by Trey and Matt is to make their future episodes and/or events that feature Kathleen Kennedy to become quite meta in fashion as well, where it will often break the fourth wall in certain areas to change things up a bit. This will involve a full-fledged parody of the drama that both Disney and Lucasfilm started with, of course, Trey and Matt, that will be featured at some point in the follow-up to the Panderverse storyline. In fact, both Trey and Matt are planning to introduce themselves into the animated event follow-up to the Panderverse. So guys, let me just stop here quick before I get to the next big piece of this ongoing development, is the fact that 2 key takeaways from this that I think is going to be quite revolutionary for South Park is that they are going to go completely meta, and they're going to break the fourth wall. And not that they haven't done that before in the past, they have done this before, mind you. You can definitely count the whole mockery of The Simpsons and Family Guy, stuff like that. But what's interesting about this is the fact that they want to throw themselves into this particular episode and/or event to kind of throw themselves into the drama that happened behind the scenes between Disney, Lucasfilm, and South Park Studios and Paramount Plus. The thing that I really feel is important about this is the fact that Trey and Matt really have no boundaries. They really have no walls around themselves to the point where they're just going all out with this whole Kathleen Kennedy and Disney drama that they really want to make clear to their audience and to people out there that may be very unaware about what Disney has been doing in recent years with many of their franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, and even Willow, if you want to count that, and Indiana Jones. So I think that Kathleen Kennedy is deserving of all of this. She really does deserve everything that she's getting. She's been asking for it. I don't think that she saw all of this coming at the end of the day. Everything ranging from Panderverse to what Trey and Matt are doing right now behind the scenes. But let's move on to the next big piece about this, because I think this is where things really begin to pick up. So let's get into all of this. Now, on top of that, they are reportedly taking a great deal of time on this follow-up in particular this time around, as they want to make it an event and an even better follow-up than the Streaming Wars Part 2. Now, on top of that, South Park will also be mocking the entire Lucasfilm leadership team as a response. This will involve the vice president and all the senior vice presidents involved over at the production studios, as they can plan to actually develop a full-on parody of their planned failed use of Star Wars and Indiana Jones in their follow-up to the Panderverse. Now, to make matters even worse for Kathleen Kennedy's position and situation here is that they will also be creating a full-on parody of Kathleen Kennedy announcing and canceling Star Wars movies at the flip of a finger here. And that's also, by the way, another thing that Kathleen Kennedy really has been doing wrongfully for a very long time now. You guys may very well be aware about this. She announces movies and then cancels them. Don't be too surprised, by the way, if the Rey movie gets canceled. Now, this is all now being done as a response to Kennedy's ridiculous claims that Panderverse damaged her image, and that was the cause of Star Wars viewership on Disney Plus taking a recent nosedive in the past 2 weeks practically since the event aired on Paramount Plus. Kennedy is set to have yet another remote meeting with the studios of South Park in the coming weeks that is likely to go absolutely nowhere at this point in time. Now again, I think that Trey and Matt, what they're doing by enhancing the event/episodes to continue mocking Disney, Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger is brilliant. I think the fact that they're using all of the drama happening behind the scenes as material just goes to show you that it's similar to what has happened before in the past. You know, this time around they're getting more meta, they're getting more, into the fashion of breaking the fourth wall, which I think is a great way to kind of change things up and create original content for their parody. And Kathleen Kennedy is only adding fuel to the fire. She should be very well aware at this point that if you mess with Trey and Matt, or if you kind of just throw yourself into any kind of drama with themselves, you can almost bet $1 million that they are going to hop on board of that situation and take advantage of it to use that in a comedy bit. Now again, we know that South Park really wants to begin doubling down on the current status of Disney as a gold mine. We already know that this has been happening between Trey, Matt, South Park Studios, Paramount Plus, Paramount Global, and Comedy Central. They realize that Disney is a pure gold mine to continue South Park in a new era of episodes and events on the horizon. So anyway, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this ongoing drama below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.